Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. I am always, as Pete Titans Creed Nevercoat, joined by the cohorts in crime as we talk through the most latest WWE PPV, known as the Elimination Chamber 2019. And as I've mentioned, my cohorts in crime, let us introduce them. As always, we've got one, Mr. Kevin Eva.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Poorer.
Yes.
Than I was this morning. A lot poorer than I was this morning.
Unfortunately, just like aging day by day, I find our money rapidly decreases.
Yes.
Much faster than we age. And as always, I am joined by John Turbo Finley. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Brilliant stuff. Yes, so as I've mentioned, we are here to talk about the Elimination Chamber 2019. It recently happened this weekend on the road to WrestleMania. We are getting there. General thoughts of the pay-per-view?
For a lot of the pay-per-view, it was a pay-per-view. And then it actually became rather exciting near the end.
I would have to agree with that.
On the road to WrestleMania, this pay-per-view is strictly in the middle of the road to WrestleMania.
It's
pretty
one
much
of two stops.
Yeah.
It's like this is the little chefs that we will be stopping by.
It very much felt like a pay-per-view at times and an episode of Raw at others.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that at times, especially some segments that were going on in this thing that we'll obviously address.
We will talk about those as we get to it. We're going to skip over the pre-match show for the most part, since I'm the only one that's watched it, but I will say, go and watch it. It is amazing. Honestly, if Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa are putting on that sort of match, they really should be on the main card. The quality of that match was too good.
I was going to say, with 205 Live in general, just needs to be scrapped and try to get them... If they were wanting to extend SmackDown to another hour and whatnot, have them take up an hour on that. You know,
I mean, it takes place after SmackDown anyway, so
yeah. So
well, I mean, people saying, why don't you sort of record it at the same time as NXT and make NXT an extra hour or something? And
yeah.
I mean, this is the same reason. Why don't we have why don't we just scrap Total Divas and actually have a women's hour of wrestling every week as well? You know, since the women's tag championships are going to be on both.
Could it be actually like Women's Hour on BBC Radio 4? Could we just have a lot of like discussion? Just no wrestling, just like two people around the microphone just discussing things in general.
It's very good. I do suggest you watch it. It really deserves to be on the main show, and it's really disheartening that it's not at the moment, I think is the best way to put it. But otherwise than that, let us move on to the main card, which is the Women's Tag Team Elimination Chamber match for the inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
So this was good. We had the Boss and Hug connection of Bayley and Sasha with Carmella and Naomi. I forget their team name, unfortunately.
The
Team
TMZ.
TMZ.
The Fabulous Glow, yeah. Or TMZ, yeah, even better. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were another name I can't recall.
Well, they were part of Absolution, but
no, they actually have a proper
by Absolution anymore.
No, they have a tag team name that they're using. There's Nia Jax and Tamina, who are the Samoan powerhouses, apparently. The Iconics, and obviously the Riot Squad. So, all in all, this was a fantastic match. I do want to say that with Beth Phoenix on commentary, she did make a couple of strong points about how it wasn't the first WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. She did mention, like, the old...
Bomb Angels.
Yeah. Exactly. Way back in the day.
Which I'm sure went down spectacularly well in Gorilla.
Yeah, Vince is like...
Don't mention it!
Don't mention the past. Ooh. We're all about new.
You know who got
exciting
those titles scrapped? A woman that we almost, celebrated with a bloody battle royal at WrestleMania at one point.
Wonder who that, yeah.
But yeah, there was some really good spots. I'm not going to go through them all, as I'm sure John and Kev will do that better. The best takeaways I had on this one is that nearly every team had a big moment in the actual match itself, and I think everybody showed their really good strengths. And it just shows that, you know, with the women's tag team championships, there's something else that they can do, and you know, that actually puts a point to women's tag team wrestling in the actual thing, other than just fighting for the sake of fighting. But I'll let you boys talk about it. Really, who wants to have a chat first?
Yeah, well, I'll have a quick chat about it. Well, first off, before we actually got into this match proper, we did have that opening promo to the thing where now the Elimination Chamber is now sentient and is now encouraging pain and misery to all those that enter it.
Yeah, that's because the people who leave it then have to watch Raw the following night.
It's been haunted by the spirit of a certain gentleman who used to go on about how many miles of chain and anything else.
But
it's probably the voice of the guy who used to do the opening video packages in the early 2000s.
I hope so.
WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah, but no. To the match itself, definitely Sasha and Bailey. I mean, there was. They all had their great things. I mean, Iconics were playing as what they were, like chicken shit heels and whatnot, during that moment. And of course, they had their moment in time when, Tamina and Nia Jax came out to dominate everyone else. Iconics went back into their pod and tried to try to keep themselves locked in there, but of course, to no avail. But it's good that they got an elimination before they got eliminated themselves.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it would be a shame for the Iconics to have been a tag team for so long and like a stable all of their own to like not get at least something, you know?
Some kind of like I
mean, plus it probably didn't help that Carmella is currently hated to the nth degree.
Do we want to address that right now?
No, we don't, because not everything is.
It's already been talked. If you haven't known, just go on to Wrestle Talk.
Allegedly.
There's a lot of allegedly.
Allegedly.
We don't know the full story, but like all I want to say is, if you're going to give stick to someone over the course of it, give stick to both. Don't just hate on one party, even without the full story that's out there.
Yeah.
Like there's no need to do that. Or ideally, since it has nothing to do to you, fucking say a damn thing.
At the end of the day, it worked into things quite nicely, and I think I mentioned this sort of last time out when we were talking about Mixed Match Challenge, that the team that was relatively new and thrown together was the team out first. I like that we had multi-person pins, and he was like, "Hey, anything goes." I liked that. The iconic sort of double pin on Naomi to get her out was pretty cool.
It's fucking tornado tag rules to a really ludicrous extreme, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is essentially, yeah, because it only requires one pin from one of the team members to be eliminated. Eliminating the whole team. And by the way, there was some really good pins. I mean, I think it was the Iconics who did the unique kind of like
the sort of the double
sunset bridge pin on one of I think Naomi or Carmella.
That's what I said, Naomi.
So, that got them eliminated, and that was quite some uniqueness. And there was like some proper like tag team kind of like ingenuity to try to, double pin either both team members or one single team member and whatnot.
Yeah.
In fact, we even got to one point where all the girls would just gang up on Tinmina and get them eliminated. Dog pile!
Yeah, no, it was very much. It was there was no nonsense that you sometimes get in this of, oh, they've broken up the pin. No, it was a case of, oh, somebody's down, we'll go and get him. That was what the great thing was when the Iconics were in and everybody was down. They just went from person to person to person to person to person. Both of them trying to do double pin anybody who was down, trying to get a pinfall and get somebody out. There was a real sense of trying to take advantage of the situation that all the teams employed. And that was really, really good to see. And everyone had a chance to shine.
Yes, it really did. One of the big points I'd like is that when everybody turned around to smack the Iconics, they turn around and go, "Don't go for us, go for them."
Yeah, as soon as the countdown started, no, look, yeah, I've got to worry about them. They're coming, coming. We'll just be over here. It was really funny.
All part of their chicken shit heel persona.
Absolutely.
So all works. But no, I mean, besides a couple of whiffs here and there, like Nia Jax putting herself through the pod, and I hate how the pods are just so terribly designed because obviously you got the pillar, like how she was gonna try to run over Bailey in that spot where she would eventually go into the pod. She had to angle it so that she had to slightly kind of like move closer to the ropes to get into the front panel, the front door, like the front of the pod.
It's already adjust the run a bit.
Yeah, so it's like it was a bit awkward that some of the I think there was a really good top rope kind of like suplex spot and whatnot. And Bailey and Sasha, they were on good top form with some of their double team stuff, like the kicks into the Bailey to Bailey. Yeah, the
backstabber into the Bay to Bailey, which got a really close near fall.
Yeah,
it was broken up. We had a callback to the last Elimination Chamber where obviously they were both going up top, and obviously last time that was when Bailey got kicked in the face, and this time Sasha was helping. Yeah, this time Sasha was helping her up, and there was like a little bit of a moment while they were up there, which was good. Yeah. They teased a lot of like really extreme moments. They teased a suplex off the very top, and everyone was going, "Oh my god, no!"
It was not gonna happen.
No.
Unless everyone was still in the ring and they were all piled up at the bottom there, that spot was not gonna happen.
But yeah, we did essentially have the sort of tee off between the remainder of Absolution and the Riot Squad's members. So we had that. We had the ongoing storyline with regard to the Iconics and whether or not they would actually sort of survive or they would connive their way to victory. We had we had Sasha being injured, and obviously Bailey's still doing all the heavy lifting, and Graves on commentary was really sticking it to about that. But then you had that story play out where Bailey got that nasty shove into the pod, and real spine into that pole. And that was sort of the first moment in the match. I just went, ooh. And then she was pretty much dead at that point, and then it was up to Sasha to sort of rise up and save the day. But we had lots of stuff. Also, blooming Sonya Deville, during that whole sort of sequence of everyone's hitting their sort of finishers or high moves, Sonya Deville's got a really wicked spear. You know.
Yeah.
The second one was a bit eh. The first one though looked like she murdered somebody.
Yeah, because wasn't that second one was because Sasha Banks had to get out of.
Yeah, it was all a bit in the way. Yeah, that first one was a
bit clunky. Yeah.
That first one though, I think was it. Who was it on? It was on. It was on Liv Morgan or Sarah Logan, one of the two, and she just bam! I mean, mowed her down.
Yeah.
Proper proper Rhino style gore.
I was
That
gonna
was.
say, hey, Charlotte. Stop
Yeah, that's a spear. That's a spear.
That's a spear.
That's a spear. Spear. Yeah,
But
what's going on? Mandy Rose looked really good.
Mandy Rose looked very good.
I mean, apart from that time when she sort of went into the corner and sort of just went, "Oh, I'm a bit too high." There we go. I hit my head on the post, everybody. Apart from that. But yeah, it's like everyone got to look really, really good in that match.
It was decent opener. Many people were thinking that this was gonna be a closer, but I'm glad it wasn't a closer.
No.
Because,
I don't think it could be the closer. I think the WWE Championship had to be the closer.
Yeah,
just with
it had to be. It was too
hot
long since the WWE Championship was actually closing out an event.
It's not even so much that. It's mostly because it had more sting to it, and people wanted to see.
Well, in the last week, it did. Like there was not many people were getting too hyped about the WWE Elimination Chamber Championship match, but no, in the last week, things picked up, and we'll get to that.
We'll talk about that as we get to it. But yes, the Boss and Hug connection, well deserved tag team championship. They obviously first talked about it and opened up the fact that they wanted it, and that's built towards this whole thing a little bit more. So for them to win
it's good that they have them. And I don't know, have any of you checked out Raw and SmackDown?
Not yet. No, I've only just finished watching the Chamber today.
What I am aware of is that they're going to be, it's not going to be tied to any brand.
Yes.
And that also includes NXT. So basically, they're just going to going around, and that's good. That's good because these are guys who would love to go to and do more NXT. Yeah, because they came from NXT. They're obviously the Horsemen and stuff.
There's plenty of people on NXT that I would love to have see compete for the tag titles, and especially the one team of Kairi Sane and Io Shirai.
Those two,
calling themselves the Sky Pirates.
Fantastic!
Because it's a great reference.
Oh dear, Oscar's probably going at that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she is.
Oscar's like
the video gamer in her.
Yeah, she's loving that probably.
But yeah, it was a very very good match. Very strong opener.
Yeah, very strong opener. They what was good was because it was at the beginning. They were able to have like the proper moment. They weren't getting rushed out of it. They made a big massive deal out of it. They got to say stuff to the audience and
even though the promo was a bit, it was obviously heat at the moment. They were emotional and whatnot.
Yeah, emotions and exhaustion.
But really, in all honesty, something like that really didn't need to have a promo at the end of that.
I think it's the sort of thing they've been doing with every sort of new belt. Come and talk about it thing. But yeah, I think we can all say it was a very good opener, very good match. Yep. Everybody had a chance to shine in that one.
Yep, absolutely. Really happy with that.
From one tag team match to a more normal tag team match, we have the Usos versus the greatest tag team in the world of McMiz.
But never mind that. We had a more important story. It's the sequel everybody wanted, everybody. There's going to be another Baby Miz. Yay! Oh, that's nice. I really hope this is not for storyline purposes. They came out again, and Miz brought out Maurice. And I like the fact that Miz took time to really congratulate Bayley and Sasha as well.
Yeah,
that was nice.
I think that was partly in due to the fact that after the Cruiserweight Championship match, Mark Henry was doing a promo on the stage, and he literally told everybody to give it up for the Cruiserweight guys. So with Miz being the first one out after the Elimination Chamber, I don't think he wanted to turn around and like not be the guy that said congratulations to the new women's tag team championship.
Well, also we've got to face Miz at the minute, obviously, but that was nice. And we got Maurice out. We got Maurice's awesome theme for about 3 seconds, which was nice. To go over that we're having another baby. And that was nice.
I don't think it was needed, but they like to think themselves as the reality show stars. So yeah, I guess it's keeping everybody clued up in your life and doing it on a bigger stage like that compared to social media is probably something. It was interesting. But yeah, this is another match I really enjoyed. I almost want to say to the same level of Usos versus New Day. There was a lot of good tag team wrestling in this. It wasn't as good as New Day Usos, but it was a really enjoyable match to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Usos in control of this match, definitely. And you know, Miz and Jane obviously working decently, and obviously working on the whole thing of like, look, we're a cohesive unit and all this jazz. But then obviously things falling apart when Shane gets taken out, and then Miz is, duped and whatnot.
Yeah, I didn't like the finish.
Yeah, the finish was dumb.
I really disliked the finish because it completely devalues the skull crushing finale as a finisher. Because it was just like he took it and he was like, yeah, and then he's perfectly fine, has all his strength. It's like,
but it's not the first time it's been kicked out of though.
Yeah, no, but I mean, for it to be essentially no sold with the
into a
the crucifix pin. That's the bit I have issue. If it was like the secondary move or a secondary move into that, and then he gets caught.
But it leads more to the shock that Miz had at the end of the pin. If you look at the look on Miz's face, he was truly shocked. Like it really shows off the what? How can someone like turn around and pin me after this? It gives him accountability to the shock that Miz has, and explains why he thought he had the match won after that. It completely leads to it.
It didn't sit right with me. I think they could have done something a bit better while still protecting the finisher of Miz.
I mean, in terms of telling the story, it works well, but not in terms of how it was done.
I mean, in terms of could this lead to a crisis of confidence for Miz purely because obviously his top move's been whatever has been so kicked out of or countered, and he hit his best shot and then lost immediately afterwards. Could that could be something that.
Speaking of Miz's top spot, that springboard axe handle.
Hey, we got to do something new.
No, I like it. I like the fact he did it. I like the fact that he had that I did it.
Yeah,
I did it.
That was quite nice. Any kind of wrestler who gets surprised by their own ability to hit a move is legitimately funny. And it did sort of play into the whole Miz wants to impress Shane. Mm-hmm. And because Shane's this ultimate daredevil, it kind of plays into a little bit to the Daniel Bryan storyline as well. About how Miz plays it safe and Miz does whatever, and Miz by associating himself with Shane could be seen as trying to sort of shed that image a little bit.
I'll tell you something else in this match that really happened that I really enjoyed the reference to. Miz was doing the it kicks in the corner. One of the commentators said, "There's Miz doing the it kicks," and then Corey Graves turned around and goes, "Remember when I called it the it kicks and you laughed at me?" And they turned around and went, "Yeah, that was a fun time."
Yeah.
After what happened to, I think it was Jimmy this past week or whatever. I was. Well, actually, no. I'm not surprised, actually, because this happened last time, and they were they got themselves one of them got into trouble, but they still had one tag team titles after the fact and whatnot. So
WWE tend not to change plans.
No.
Unless there's like something really major. It's something
I was gonna say if it was something majorly bad or majorly damaging to the company and whatnot, but something like what happened to Jimmy or Jay.
WWE released a statement though, saying that he's responsible for his own actions. Yeah, but no, I mean, fair dues. I mean, just see how it goes because I'm sure. I mean, we know that there's been a Shane and Miz
that's
match at WrestleMania on the cards for the longest time. So whether it comes off the back of Fastlane, because I believe they've got a rematch set up for Fastlane.
Yeah, they do.
This leads into what I said last time of working with a McMahon and getting the rematch you want when rematch clauses aren't actually a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Just saying, lads. Just saying.
You kind of you made the good point, obviously.
Somebody made a point I was reading earlier that so Shane's been hardcore European and world tag champ. Yeah. He gave away the European Championship. Mm-hmm. He lost the world tags because his partner was pinned. And the only reason that he lost the hardcore title was because he was knocked 40 feet off into the air and landed. And that's the only situation he's been pinned and lost the title. Despite he's a 3-time champion, 3 different belts, and the only time he's actually been pinned for the belt was after a 40-foot drop. And then an elbow.
Yeah. He's a slippery devil.
Yeah. It's like, the only way you can pin me is to kill me. Oh, dear.
It happened at Hell in a Cell multiple times, so...
Anyway, Shane brought out the greatest hits, and we were happy.
I mean, granted, he didn't bust out the shooting star press this time around, but of course he was already out of it.
No, but he got caught on the coast to coast again.
Coast to coast, the coast to coast.
Yeah.
Attempt.
So, coast to coast to in the super kick.
Coast to super kick. Oh, it was a beautiful super kick.
Yeah, much like their one against their match against the Bar, it was a case of this was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I thought it was fun. I was expecting it to be a decent match.
Look, I know the Usos and the Miz aren't at Shane McMahon's level because, as we know, he is the best wrestler in the world. But in spite of that...
This is best in the world, thank you. Best in the world. He is on Shane's level.
Look, when they do a lay call and they cut the trophy in half zigzag-wise and they sort of put it together, then and only then... I mean, crikey, he isn't even... Miz is playing the team player and Shane isn't. Miz with his Biz and Mac shirt and Shane with his Shane O'Mac shirt.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
It's like a subtle thing, but it's... we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I really hope something good happens and Miz gets a decent thing for Mania, but it's not gonna...
I want to say Miz for a World Championship run, but...
Miz... Yeah, remember a few months back when we were really excited about the direction everything was going to go for the Miz because of all his hard work and he's put his character over.
Change.
Yeah, well, we had a McMahon inserted into something, and funnily enough, when you have a McMahon inserted into anything in wrestling, it tends to turn into piles of shite. But
then I also want to say that the thing I've been crusading since we started this podcasting series is finally happening, and we'll talk about that as we come to it. But yes, the Usos walk away as your new SmackDown World Tag Team Champions, 6-time champions, I believe.
6, yeah. Yes, they walk out of 6-time champions and they walk into contract negotiations because they're close to becoming free agents.
Yes.
So again, belts. So championships. Sorry, I can't say belts.
And speaking of championship changes, we'll step into Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in a handicap match for a WWE Intercontinental Championship. And I'm sure this makes Mrs. Finley's baby boy very happy that his boy Finn Balor.
Yeah, yes, it's good that he has a title again, though I wish it was the Universal title personally, But
he's already eclipsed that reign by the time we're recording this. So it's in terms of length. He's doing wonders. He's doing wonders.
He already has. But regardless, the match itself, how
it's the same thing that happened when we had the handicap Raw Tag Team Championship match when the Authors of Pain and
Seth Rollins
and their manager had it, and Seth Rollins and I can't remember who else. And he won the tag, and they won it. It's the same sort of thing. Like, you walked into it and you knew that Lio Rush was going to be the fall guy.
Yeah, aye. The one that you were talking about was Office of Pain and Drake Maverick versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Because that's how Chad Gable and Bobby Roode got the title. That was
yes, thank you. Chad Gable, not Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it was the same case. It was the same format, and
So the minute you saw the format for that, you were like, "Yeah, Finn's gonna win this.
Finn's gonna win," which I'm gonna be happy for. But I'm just not gonna be happy for the fact that it's just gonna be by the numbers. This is a handicap match. He's the fall guy. Done. And Lio Rush can be in the level of like a really good athlete and whatnot, because we've seen he has had that kind of like work ethic in 205 before, where he can be high flying and all that and very impressive. But of course, he's in the storyline. He has to be weaker for some reason.
Well, he has to be. He has to be the smallest guy in the yard.
Yeah.
Also, he's allegedly got heat again.
Well, why am I not surprised?
Because he's an arrogant prick.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like arrogance gets you nowhere in this company. Why do people have to have it? Honestly, ridiculous.
Yes. But it was over. The thing about this match, it was over before I even realised it was over.
Yeah, I know.
Like it didn't feel like it was 10 minutes long. It really, literally felt like you started watching it and it was done.
Yeah, because it was just Bobby Lashley working on Balor for the majority of the match, and then when Lio Rush made a mistake and Balor was able to work it out, he just boom, fly over the ropes, coup de grace, and boom, new IC title reign. So, but hey.
I mean, the best thing that we can hope for this is that Finn does something to elevate the status of that belt, because it's in the.
He has the potential of doing that. If you give him, move him away from the Lashley kind of like storyline, get Lashley out of the picture and whatnot, have Balor have someone really good to work with. I'm trying to think of someone who he can work with.
The Miz. That's what we normally. That's what we normally do. If we haven't got Jericho around to rescue a mid-tier belt, we stick it on Miz. That's what we do.
Well, I was gonna say, because of what recently happened in Raw and SmackDown and whatnot, we might have someone new come up and be a good opening.
What, you mean AEW happened and they've got lots of injuries on the way to WrestleMania, so they pulled the NXT fucking pull-up button.
All right, hold on. Let me now redo this then. I think a returning Kevin Owens might be a good challenge for him.
No, put Kevin Owens in the main event picture. It's where he belongs. The problem with Raw is its main event picture is lacking. They don't want to put Braun there because they don't want Braun to lose to fucking Lesnar again. Until Lesnar's out of the picture, Strowman's not going to be in the main event. Fucking it, and which means that they have to have Strowman feud with someone. So they put every other single big guy.
We'll get to this. We'll get to this. And I am so pissed at that match. We will get to this.
Yeah.
It's.
But no, anyway. But
I think we need to do a whole episode on the TV shows at some point anyway, and our feelings towards how they're going.
Ah!
Yeah, I said an episode, Kev. You can do that for 10 minutes.
Just loop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Note to me in editing. Just loop that for 10 minutes.
Make it a GIF on Twitter. There you go. Done.
Well, there's your screenshot for.
Finn. Yeah, so Finn wins the Intercontinental title. Over before you know it. And speaking of over before you know it, I hesitate to call it. We go into the piss break match. What was this? Next two matches.
It was an advert.
These next two matches were literally. This is where it turns into an episode of Raw. Mm-hmm. Like, Ruby Riott fucking deserves to be in that women's championship picture. She does not deserve to be squashed in 1 minute and 40.
And I don't know why that was the case, because in previous Ronda Rousey matches we've had where we totally gave her praise. She was doing good work with whoever she was wrestling against and whatnot. And yet this moment in time, they have to just devalue Ruby Riott.
I mean, I get it. I get it solely on the benefit that it's there for the promo that came after it.
Yeah.
It was purely there. It was essentially, we sacrificed Ruby Riott on the altar of an angle.
Yeah, for this segment.
And the Riott Squad as well afterwards.
Yeah, because even though they had, a decent outing in the tag match earlier in the night, it's like, now,
are they doing?
Leader just got beaten in 2 minutes.
Oh no! Okay, so good things from this match. Okay, Ronda coming out as Sonya Blade,
obviously because of the recent.
Which I thought was a pretty cool outfit. She had like the gold MK Dragon on there, and as she went through the armbar, she just yelled "flawless victory" at Ruby as well.
Wow. I didn't catch that. So,
no, she finished with flawless victory, and then stuck in the armbar. So that was good. Ruby gets a paycheck. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want those girls. At least Ruby's getting remembered. Is one thing. I mean, did you know that there is actually a SmackDown Women's Champion? Because on the road to WrestleMania, nothing exists apart from everything going on Raw, apparently.
Honestly, sometimes I just question why.
It's going to be difficult because you feel like Vince or whoever's making the decision for the card is struggling to find a way to put the two women's championship matches on there anyway, and with the tag team championships on there now. I feel they're going to struggle. And we're only going to see two women's championship matches, which is going to be really, really shit. It's going to be really shit.
The scuttlebutt is that they might well get rid of the brand extension for the women.
Well, this is again what I've said. Just do you know what? Whoever wins the fucking belt at Mania off Rousey, fucking do a unification match between the two brands. Give the women a fucking hour slot and allow them to do what they want to do with the odd match and stuff on your two main shows.
I don't know. I found one of the things that happened before the pay-per-view actually was with everybody appearing on every other show. It was like, because I think Natty said that she was like, she wanted a piece of this action of apparently not being tied to any show, and she suggested going after Asuka. I'd be very happy with Asuka versus Natty.
Yeah.
Considering Natty's background of competing in Japan as well. Yep. So, hey, that'd be something for Oscar to do, at the very least. Have a nice technical showpiece match.
Yeah. Don't bother.
Be on the undercard, but something.
Don't bother shaking up the card, after Mania. Shake it up now. Get it over and done with.
I would not be at all surprised if they don't go, oh well, sod the brand extension before Mania. If they don't just like suddenly go like 3 weeks out from Mania, like, oh, here's the draft. Oh, just doing something utterly stupid like that. It's so out of whack what's going on, but it's always the same with WWE. It's like they get tunnel vision.
Yeah, and then they
things.
They lose track. They just go,
it's just like
just waving back and forth.
Ooh,
but yeah.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Don't say ooh, because we'll say so. Okay. This is how it works. Isn't that right?
Ooh.
So.
So yeah, I mean.
No, we didn't say ooh.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Move on. I'm gonna let Kev take the floor for the next match.
Oh wait, before the next match, or was this? After?
Oh yeah, but we didn't actually do the angle. We didn't actually do the angle from the match.
Go nuts.
With the man coming out on crutches and the best looking jacket I've ever seen. Yeah, and coming out and, because we had Charlotte sitting at ringside for this thing.
Yeah, not with a ringside ticket seat.
No, she nicked one of the chairs from the commentary table and sat there. It was the old. They've come out to observe the match. Hint, hint. Stuff's happening.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte was Charlotte. And then there was a bit of after the Riot Squad came in and were dealt with, there was a bit of talking with Charlotte in the ring. Then the suspended, injured, hung, drawn, quartered, anything else they'd like to do to her, Becky Lynch came out on crutches, despite the fact that she's banned from everything, she's suspended. She got in the ring.
She's
security
legitimately injured now, though, isn't she?
Oh, I think she was a little bit before, but now it's sort of got into it's one of those areas where it could be super grey. We don't know anymore.
Here's the thing: when she was selling the leg and whatnot, and then she started beating up Charlotte with the blooming crutches, she was fine. She was like bouncing on
she was wailing.
She was on steady ground and whatnot, and then she starts limping again. It's like, fucking hell, come on!
Yeah, but I kind of had a Ross Twaddell moment, and I was like, when she started laying, I was like, kill! Just try. I was far too happy of seeing Becky just walloping her with the... And then we had the sort of like the deal with the devil thing. It's like, do you want to come in and have a nice shot of Charlotte Flair as well? There's another crutch, and then she started walloping on Ronda Rousey as well, including hitting her in the head and bloodying her arm, which is a bit unfortunate.
I was gonna say, if Becky Lynch ever just went to the crowd and said, "Does anyone want to have a go?" You would
yes. Just be like, I brought my own crutch. Hang on. But I'll tell you, one thing I was really pissed off at actually, and that was actually kind of both of them. Despite if you'd have been hit that many times with a crutch, I'm sorry, you are a pool. You are a pool of humanity just on the floor. There is a puddle. There's nothing left of you. You have been reduced to mush. You are down. You are out. Ronda's like, I'm getting up again, and it's like, no. And there's things like that mean she does get whacked in the freaking head because she's going down, and Charlotte's all bruised up, and I don't fucking care about that bit. But never mind.
Anywho,
yeah, there was some bad selling going on. That's what I'm gonna say. For two people who are, like I say, should have been just rendered unconscious by this barrage, this assault. Oh well. So there you go. We move on from that, everybody. Oh boy, to Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman in a match that became a no DQ match and a match that became a no interest from me match. Made use of that it has Baron fucking Corbin in it. And okay, so there was some good moments. There were a couple of good moments. There was a bit of was it Braun swatted away the chair.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, a thrown office chair, not not a metal chair or anything. One of the big commentators' office chairs, and Braun just sort of goes and knocks it out of the way.
Basically, did a perfect guard on that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. It was, and then everyone sort of just went, oh, well, that's unfortunate. But then for some reason, why the fuckity fuck have we dragged? Everybody that's been dragged into this, just going to this massive black hole of just talent who we've got no idea. Just chuck them all more into this Baron Corbin shit. The big problem
is that this is the fucking team that was just happening at the point where the McMahons were setting up the new era, and we're not going to give you the shit you don't want anymore. So we're going to wait 2 months for it to die down and give you the shit you didn't want anymore.
Why are you doing this to Drew?
I know.
What more do you want him to do for you? I don't understand why even Lashley. What the fuck has Lashley done to deserve this?
I hope his contract was just for a year because I want him out of there.
Poor boy. Well, both of them.
I hope the guy.
Do you know what the problem is?
After WrestleMania.
Well, please tell us.
The problem is Lesnar. They've got themselves into this fucking massive black hole where they haven't got the heavyweight title there, and there's nothing for these guys to fight over except to fucking essentially storyline-wise bicker amongst each other to see who's the fucking biggest dick in the ass.
We sort of set up for either of these guys. It's a natural setup for Lashley because it's the match that everyone's been talking about for bloody 12 years. Because Lashley was the quote-unquote replacement for Brock Lesnar in terms of what they were going to do with the character. And it's been followed him around ever since. We've got Drew, who was also set up to be a potential candidate to face Brock Lesnar, and we've not done it. And Drew's been clearly shown to have the actual, strength and tenacity, to actually potentially stand toe to toe with Lesnar, and we've not gone there.
Gonna say this: the night after WrestleMania, when Rollins is champion again after winning the championship at WrestleMania again,
if he's not injured,
the night after WrestleMania, when he has that belt, he's gonna be, I'm the bloody champion. He's gonna
Claymore.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it in the name of Reigns, and he's gonna be like, I'm a fighting champion.
Please.
Blah, blah, blah. Strowman will appear. Fucking... Lashley will appear. Lesnar will obviously appear and go, rematch. But
now!
All of the big lads, all of them that are fighting amongst each other, the minute Rollins has that belt, they'll all come out.
Yeah. If you actually gave a stare down between Lashley and Lesnar, I guarantee you the crowd will fucking go molten.
Yeah, probably.
But we've got Baron Corbin and his stupid fucking wrestling in a shirt and vest.
I don't know why he's still.
Why is he still doing that? I don't understand. The whole point was that he was the general manager, commissioner, whatever the fuck he was. He's not that anymore. Constable Corbin. He's not Constable Corbin anymore. He's not been Constable Corbin for about 3 fucking years.
Do you know what he is now, though? He is definitely not Constable Corbin. He is Constable Corbin.
Yes, absolutely. The only thing there are three things I enjoy about Baron Corbin. Number one is the deep six. Number two is the slide out under and then go back round again.
That's all he's good for.
Yeah, that. And the other one is seeing him fucking go. That is literally the three things I like about Baron Corbin. And yet he's here. It's just you can feel the charisma and the excitement of the audience just being drawn in, destroyed into a quantum singularity.
You know
smaller than you can conceive.
I almost want Baron Corbin to fucking go against Jericho, just to see the charisma vacuum versus the fucking charisma Tudor.
Oh my god!
Just watch them fucking.
It's pasta and anti-pasta. The entire universe will just implode. What are you gonna do? Oh dear. There's a storyline for you. You get Jericho in, and as his new gimmick is a makeover artist.
That's literally just the storyline. You get Jericho in, and all is right with the world.
For those about to rock, here's Baron Corbin.
God. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The
because
best
it's
thing
no
about this match was
DQ,
the
Corbin
ending.
wins. We've got a new triumvirate of
Which don't
with Baron
appear
Corbin and the
again
other
on Raw, I think.
No.
Like the status quo just re-happens on Raw. I think.
Well, granted, what happened on Raw completely derailed a lot of things and whatnot.
Well,
It does matter.
I mean, I will touch on that briefly because the what's being said is with these random sudden, hey look NXT people, is nobody kind of informed Trips properly. So that's why you've suddenly got people are being called up and yet they're still champs and things. So they've basically fucked over the NXT storylines for the sake of going, aha, surprise on Raw.
Haha, surprise on Raw before WrestleMania. Haha, AEW, we're trying to build our fucking brand.
And that's really annoying because obviously Triple H is supposed to be like the vice president of talent relations and whatnot for NXT and stuff like that, and he wasn't given the green light on this.
I reckon Vince just hadn't seen these guys before. He saw halftime heat.
Oh, yeah.
He saw halftime heat.
Well,
and he went, "That's the guys I want on my show. That's the guys I want. Get that one and the slightly bigger one with the beard. Get the one that's the jumping bean and the one who looks like an emo, and we'll get them on. And that's all we'll do." Oh, for fuck's sake, Vince McMahon, just go.
Yeah,
Take Baron Corbin with you. If you could,
Yeah,
stick him in a suit. Stick him in your suitcase. Hollow him out.
Let Baron Corbin go and do football for the XFL.
Hollow him out. Stick your contents of your desk inside Baron Corbin. Zip him up. Take him with you. Stick him on top of a roof rack of your car, and then drive. But I'm sorry, I got really worked up about this fucking match.
Can we move on to happier things?
Yes. The best match of the night.
Yes,
Indeed.
the best match of the night.
Oh my god, was this needed?
Yeah, this was definitely.
I mean,
the
probably.
great
We've had the
dessert.
palate cleanser. Now
Yes.
Now we're on dessert.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Right, yeah, please do.
This is a cheesecake from heaven. Like.
Go on, John. Take it away.
Oh,
After you,
God.
Taylor, yeah.
What do I need to say about this match? Bloody hell! I mean, you had Brian and who else was starting in the match?
Joe.
Joe. Yeah, it was Joe because it was the whole thing about Brian. It was the heel versus heel, but Brian was trying to get away from Joe, and Joe was all like,
you're right.
you're
And
not
that
going to
was
escape.
great. Yeah, it's like great psychology with him, and of course, this is like, oh my God, this is like Ring of Honor coming happen. Then, Jesus Christ, some of the spots that was going on later on, like Daniel Bryan like Kofi Kingston comes out, and then Daniel Bryan goes up onto the pod, just sits out, and Kofi's having a go with Joe, and then he gets up onto the pod and beats up Brian and whatnot. And oh god, there's just too much to talk about in this game.
That first bit where he was going toe to toe with Samoa Joe after he'd come out as like the first guy to come out of the actual pods. And it was almost like, wait there a second, we're not letting you get away with that. The leap up, just the looming over Daniel Bryan was such there's going to be photos of that. That people are like years time, the wrestling historians are going to be like, it's going to be like an iconic photo, I think, of just him just looming over, like what the hell are you doing, as Bryan's there with his cross-legged pose, just trying to take a time out. And it just set the stall wonderfully for the Attitude coming in with Kofi off of his massive run in the gauntlet match that we had.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing. Is like ever since that gauntlet match, ever since he was like inserted to replace Mustafa Ali, the hype for the match and everyone was behind Kofi wanting to be champion.
Let's just touch on that a second. So obviously everything that has happened in that gauntlet match and in the chamber was what Ali was meant to do.
Yes.
That's been confirmed.
Yes, it's been confirmed.
But it's almost as if New Day, since they've turned face all those years ago, and a lot of the universe following up, down, down, and all of Kofi's stuff that he does on there, as well as the social media, Kofi's white hot. It's just he's never had the thing to do solo, which we've all talked about on this show since we've started doing it, well over a year ago, about how New Day needs to have that singles run. And we've all been pretty open to who we want to do it. But it was down to Kofi and Big E. Kev's always been a big stand for wanting Kofi to do it because he's the stand of the company.
But more importantly, it's what New Day want.
Yes.
From the get-go, they've been absolutely clear in what the project of New Day ultimate aim is, which is Kofi Kingston World Champion.
It's very much the feeling that the universe is really behind Kofi, and because of the ovation that he had after the gauntlet, after the chamber, upper management is well aware of where Kofi is, and I think at time of recording he has a one-on-one match with Bryan at Fastlane.
Yes, he does.
Which was originally meant to be billed as AJ, Joe, and Bryan, so that actually shows how fucking far the support has got him to change that lineup into that. Hopefully, you know what? If Kofi fucking Kingston gets a single match with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, fuck me, top of the card. Well, it won't be top
of the card.
But it's still counted as a main event spot.
You've got that. I mean, I think it
was
was
a title match. Yeah.
I think it was Kanellis actually on Twitter. I think it was him. Said
it was Maria. I think actually, rather than Mike.
No, I think it was Mike who said this one was like, if you've got that kind of level of the gist was that you've got that kind of level of support from the fans for a person, and you're getting that kind of support in the back to the same degree from the people you've worked with, and you've been doing it for this long, it tells you a hell of a lot about the person that they are.
Yeah.
And
because
it is
apparently Kofi is a great guy.
Yeah, Kofi is well liked, well respected. So everyone loves Kofi, and there's people have been well aware of what Kofi Kingston can do for ages, and yet he's been sort of pigeonholed into bloody blah and Royal Rumble spot guy, and but you forget, before Royal Rumble spot guy he was Money in the Bank briefcase spot guy. Yeah. As well, wasn't he? And he's gone through that. He was young tag team. He's a young tag team guy, into Money in the Bank spot guy, into Royal Rumble spot guy, into New Day, and what have you. But we know of his quality. Everyone knows his quality, but he just needed the opportunity to shine. And By God, isn't it funny? Okay, we say about this so often about the booking of WWE and setting out stories and doing stuff to actually make people look good. Funnily enough, look what happens if you take the time to actually do something that the fans are invested in and you give them a chance to shine. Look what happens. You get a massive investment from the fans in that push. Not only that, you get a fantastic performance from that athlete, and you have the potential, if you actually went through with stuff, of having a brand new star, someone who's been with you from the go, who knows everything and the people are familiar with and has a history. You have a storyline now of 10 years in the company who's trying to go forward. We don't get that much anymore. We don't get those, Herculean tales of people who have been plying their trade up and down the road for WWE for so long. Not now, Double Cross. I'm in the middle of something here, sweetie.
This is a rousing speech.
And we say we don't get, and yet you have that in Kofi, somebody who's been there through different eras and different things. He's been the tag team guy. He's been a Jamaican, for God's sake. He's been absolutely everything. And what's the one thing we had out of the Attitude Era? We had the various tag teams. We had Edge and Christian. We had the Hardys. We had the Dudleys. And from that blossomed into major singles wrestlers. We had world champions in Edge, Christian, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy obviously won the ECW championship and went on to other things as well. You can still do that, and that's also the big thing with tag team wrestling and how tag team wrestling can be a massive benefit to wrestling as a whole, to WWE, and that's one of the things that's been lacking for so damn long because Vince doesn't see any value in tag team wrestling. Hello, look at your history. Hello, look at your present.
A lot of it is that you're not wrong. Part of the we just need to hope that they don't go along the line of, well, Kofi's fucking white hot. Let's turn him heel and break him from New Day. Fuck no.
No.
Thankfully, the guys at New Day know better
heel,
than
and
that.
he's like the most hated heel at the moment. So,
because that's how Vince thinks. He's like, can't have a stable that high. Yeah, you don't do it. Keep them together. They're fucking look. You only have to watch the end of the fucking chamber where they were in arms with each other, sitting in front of the chamber and the camera panned, so they were under the WrestleMania
site. You're giving such great stuff. Even the gauntlet match. Going back to the gauntlet match when AJ tapped Kofi out. They were out, but it was just to check on their mate, and just going through all of that and supportive. And even AJ was like, before obviously Orton's music came out and Orton ruined fucking everything by being Orton. But you had that moment of, it's the camaraderie there. It's the proper team. It's the proper tag team. It's not WWE booking of the jealousy angle or the immediate breakup because necessity. It's the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, go back to the match itself.
Yeah, go back to the match itself. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, off of that tangent. Overall, it was really great. Eliminations was a bit, bad because Joe was first eliminated, which was a bit sad. I would have liked to have seen Jeff. Yeah,
Jeff was in there for one move.
Yeah, he had his spots though. It's like what was it? He did a swanton from on top of one of the pods, I believe.
Yeah, from the pod onto AJ, who was across the rope. So he essentially swantoned onto the ropes deliberately.
Yeah,
which is just mad. But then again, it's Jeff. So
it's Jeff. Yeah, he needed to do that crazy spot, and he got eliminated for it afterwards. So fair enough. Orton getting an RKO out of nowhere on AJ as well, which is obvious. But no, it was just the last bit with Bryan and Kofi was the massive highlight because you had the crowd right behind.
Oh god, they were living and dying on every move.
Yes, it was like every spot, every finish, every time. It was like right there. It was in the palm of our hands, and it's like delicious. It was bloody delicious.
That point where Brian was doing I guess no kicks now.
Yeah.
And Kofi was just taking it, and then he was like offering his side, like, go on, kick me some more. The crowd it was so in the moment then. You could tell both of them were so in the moment then in terms of everything that was going on. The crowd, was so loud at that because it was just battling against it. And he kicked out of the knee.
Yeah.
As well, he kicked out of the running knee, which is basically, it's
the end all.
It's the end all. And Kofi kicked out of it after, getting turned inside out and after a number of really high impact moves after that. Because he took four of the running drop kicks as well in the corner.
Yeah. He also took the bell lock as well for a good long time.
He'd already had the arm in the chain, which was the lead up to that, and having his arm really twisted up and really screwed up. And then he had the adjusted label lock.
It looked rough.
Yeah. Like Kofi sold it. Proper.
Although
I'll tell you what.
I'm still kind of annoyed I'm still kind of annoyed at the rules of an elimination chamber match because it's
rope breaks.
Going for the rope
breaks. Yeah, I didn't get that because it was like, are there rope breaks or aren't there rope breaks? It doesn't. It seems to be a bit wishy-washy on that.
It still counts as having a ring inside the chamber. The whole idea of the chamber is it's similar to Hell in the Cell, where there's no pins or anything outside of the ring, except that it's a multi-man match with stuff coming in at certain points. That's the point, but I digress. The other thing that Kofi sold was getting thrown into the pod. It looked horrible.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It looked like he'd actually been thrown into the steel side.
I honestly thought he had been at one point, just because of how his reaction was.
I mean, thank God he wasn't busted hard way because of it as well. But no, he sold it very well. And damn it, we should. Granted, for myself, I should have been giving him a lot more credit, ages ago. But now, he's broken out.
Additional credit needs to go to Daniel Bryan, who has really convinced us that he is a no good rat bastard.
Oh yeah,
he was despicable in that.
Yeah, he was proper heel, proper, conniving and particular kind of heel.
Yeah, can we talk about Bryan's new Titantron entrance for just a minute there? It's interesting. I know they've changed it to obviously first of all get rid of the yes and it's gone bland, but they've obviously given it a flavor now.
Eco environmentalist Daniel Bryan, kind of
my only worry is that the last time they did something like this was with Kevin Owens when they made him the United, he was the champion for the United States, and all of his Titantron was all the United States stuff and it had the belt on there, and then it's what they've done with
that's
Bryan.
The United States Championship. This is the World Championship. This is Daniel Bryan we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things that people we all kind of knew in our heart of hearts that Kofi wasn't going to win.
No,
because he's just been given this fantastic hemp belt custom job, so he's not going to lose that until Mania at the very least, unless it's like a win at Fastlane and then a loss at Raw.
Well,
or something.
I think it's so is that how they'll go about it is that Kofi will lose at Fastlane, but then Kofi will say, "Look, just give me one more shot. I want this. I want to do this." And then Bryan goes,
I absolutely agree.
Okay,
I think it's pretty much that Bryan's going to hold the belt till WrestleMania at this point.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
I think the Fastlane singles match is going to be a tester to see how well that goes over, and if it does, they'll spend that last 2 to 4 weeks on a singles build up for Bryan and Kofi at Mania. Yeah. Because if they can pull off in a singles match throughout that what they did at the end of the chamber, then I think they'll absolutely get the green light, because that's going to be hotter than anything they could stick AJ Styles into. And that's nothing against AJ. I just think AJ versus Bryan is a little...
AJ's current things played out.
Yeah.
AJ's got to be sort of built up to a place where AJ can do something again. AJ's kind of floating.
Yeah. But the thing that I want to see, or this is what I'm thinking might happen for the Mania, if it does turn out to be good and they do go with Kofi versus Bryan at Mania as well, is it'll be a title versus career match. Daniel Bryan title for Kofi's career, because to really build on the 11-year...
The problem with that,
it's like, it's his 11-year kind of career that's obviously been emphasized in this thing. And if Daniel Bryan, obviously for storyline purposes, Daniel Bryan would go in and say, yes, you've had this great illustrious career of 11 years. I want it.
Yeah,
gone, or something like that. Because that'll make him a heel. That'll probably be detestable.
Here's the
more hated.
Here's the problem, John. Any time that is a match stipulation in any kind, the person with a career on the line will very rarely lose it. So it kind of stinks of the fact, especially in Kofi's position, Kofi is a company man. He's not going to be leaving the company at some...
You don't do the career. You do the New Day.
Hair versus hair.
No, you do the New Day.
Break up.
If you lose, the New Day have to break up. So then you put it on... Then you put it on the New Day, and you have the thing is, hey, it's what you've said. The New Day is for. Are you going to risk it all? They have to break up. They have to go their own separate ways if Kofi loses. So either Kofi is successful, or what they've all been trying to do for the last 5 years or however long it's been is all for naught. And then you risk, and then you sort of get the obviously all the marks thinking, oh, are they going to turn somebody heel, and they're going to do the deliberate, costing Kofi the match? Is this going to be like the next thing you're going to make? Turn Big E or something like that. Then you can do that, and it's not going to be as contrived as, or as potentially telegraphed as a title versus career. So that'll be an interesting tweak, and it also then gets the New Day involved in the match, because obviously the New Day, it would then have them be, deciding factors. You also get the ability to utilize their promo skills, and as we know, certainly Xavier and E have got their strengths.
I can see it as. I can see it as a way that it raises the stakes at Mania. My feeling is that Kofi gets the belt through New Day at ringside to obviously combat Rowan, and if Harper comes back at Fastlane, because Harper coming back is obviously on the card somewhere. He might be the reason Kofi doesn't win Fastlane, so that's why you have New Day at ringside to offset them. But then Kofi wins the belt, he gets the big win, that's fine. But then down the line, I can see the belt versus the career type thing come in, where it's just like, you've got the belt, that's sure, but you didn't do it on your own, you did it with them. When I won the belt, I did it on my own. You can't win without the New Day, and that's where they do that.
Yeah, you start putting the little bit of dissension in there, a little bit of the seed of doubt.
Absolutely, and that's how you do it. But you let the win be there, and then you let the doubt be there after. Not like, if you want to do that.
You got time for this. We've got Fastlane.
If you want to do that, then Kofi has to win at Fastlane in order to be able to do that. The storyline would work, but Kofi has to win the belt first.
Well, they're making him strong because, again, spoiler for SmackDown, cover your ears if you've not heard it, but he has pin the WWE champion again. So it's certainly they're doing their best to make him feel good. Like I say, everybody's rooting for him. Rollins was tweeting about KofiMania and getting behind Kofi.
Yep.
If there's somebody that the boys and girls in the locker room would like to get their due, it's Kofi, and there's obviously also the WWE tradition of getting, if you're a long time company man, of getting that the big championship push. Yes, sir, you at the back.
If Kofi wins the heavyweight championship, gives him the Grand Slam, doesn't it?
Yes.
Must
because
do.
he is
Must
the US
do.
title, IC title holder, I believe.
All of the tag belts, all of them.
Yep. So yeah, I think that would give him the Grand Slam.
That is
That
an
would be a
additional factor.
WrestleMania win and a half, wouldn't it?
Additional factor going on.
I think it's interesting to see where it leads. We've all been rooting for the New Day to be making the step forward in the singles reign as well. They're doing it in the good way as well. I don't think anybody of us is going to disagree with that. It's going to be interesting to see where Fastlane takes us and where obviously the build up to Mania. We are coming up to Mania. It's going to be interesting because it means we get Mania prediction season. And
I was waiting for somebody to say Mania predictions. I don't have to worry about moving out now. I can go and fetch the belt and have it on display again. I've been trying to keep it nice and safe in case I have to send it off due to emergency leaving of my house.
I've got a nice space to knock all of the flushes off and have the belt right there. I can just knock them all out.
I don't know. I'm going to keep. I'm keeping this belt, and then I'm coming for Turbo's Anarchy Reigns belt, and then I'm coming for your plushies. I'm gonna be like Xavier Woods on the Miz. I'm gonna start taking all of the things off of your wall.
Oh, really?
Slowly but surely.
Great.
And I'm starting with your wallpaper, and I'm gonna move on to his stuff.
I think the best thing you could do with Turbos is take that dry plank.
Dry wet wall. Yeah, take that.
Yeah, take that.
I'm gonna take all your trippy drawings.
Anyway, WrestleMania predictions will be coming as we get closer to WrestleMania. Next time we will
have the card.
When we have the card, Fastlane is coming. We will be back for that unless we decide to drop another special episode on you. Speaking of special episodes, please make sure you go and watch our thoughts of AEW with special guest Greg. It was a pleasure having him here. We'll probably look at getting him back on at some point because he is pleasure to have on, and he's very fucking knowledgeable about what he's talking about as well, which is always lovely to have, especially when you combat it against these three idiots. And that leads us into the scores. So, I mean, John, give it your best score. Elimination Chamber 20,000. 20,019.
20,000 leagues under the chamber.
Yeah. With the kind of like meandering of some of the kind of like middle parts and stuff like that, another thing that we totally forgot about was the unnecessary bloody Lacey Evans thing coming down.
Is that gonna change the score that you're gonna give it?
No, it's just gonna make it worse.
12 out of 10.
Is that going to change the score you're going to give it? No, it's going to make it worse. John, that kind of changes the score you're going to give it.
It's late when we're recording.
Is it going to change the score for the positive reasons? It's like, no, it's not.
It was a waste of time.
Yeah. I'm going to say overall, it's got to be a 7. I know I'm very inconsistent with my numbers and whatnot, but I feel as though this one is I think a 7, because I did like Finn getting his winning the title, like the women's match and whatnot. I liked the main event, but I didn't like the Braun Strowman Corbin match entirely. I just didn't like the handicap match that Finn Balor had and whatnot, and the Ronda Rousey match, even though I liked Becky Lynch and all that, it's just the whole angle and whatnot. So I'm gonna say 7.
Mr. Pete.
No, I always...
No, I'm pouncing in now. It's your turn.
I don't know. I didn't even really think about it, to be honest. The thing, as my voice decides to crackle and break underneath me, the thing I've got to decide here is, do the negatives outweigh the positives? That's the thing, because where it decides to devolve into an episode of Raw with all of the nonsense that goes with it, is it worth it? Does it devolve? Does it reduce how good it is? And I have to say yes. It does reduce it, unfortunately. Like, more Baron Corbin and fucking Braun into the fucking triumvirate of fucking doom, because we haven't got anything to do with our big guys because the fucking heavyweight belt doesn't exist. If the Universal Championship was there, we probably would have had a third Elimination Chamber. Probably, maybe they would have just changed the women's tag championships and they would have had like a knockout King of the Ring style league. Who knows? Like, and had the actual finality at the chamber match. But it's like, I don't know. Would a Universal Championship match in the Elimination Chamber be worth watching? I'd have to say yes, because especially with the talent that's there on Raw. So yeah, that pointless match again, because we're sick of fucking Baron Corbin. Lacey Evans, as pointed out, completely fucking pointless. Just to remind us that we're there with the NXT call-ups on Raw. And then a squash match with Ruby Riott, where we've had 2 consistent pay-per-views of good matches. You could have still had a good match and then fucking done your promo afterwards. Hell, it probably would have gone over even better because what's her face? Oh my god, words escape me tonight. I do apologize. Women's champion
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey would have been too exhausted to fight back instead of her just watching her beat down Charlotte. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 6. I really am, just because I think it just brings down too much. It was good, it was steady, and everything else, and then it just nosedived so hard. Yes, we had a massive positive, but to bring it back up, but it was just unnecessary. It really was.
As I've sort of explained this before when I think of the scores, but I tend to look at each match individually and I will award that a score, and it'll either be 0, 1 or 2. 1 is it was an okay match. 0 is, oh my god, what is this filth, get it off my screen. And 2 is, yes, that was a really, really good match, it was fantastic. On the basis of that, it works out to a 6. However, I'm going to give it because it was still kind of a sort of middle of the road pay-per-view, as we said. I'm going to give it a 6.5 purely for 2 reasons. It gets an extra point, but purely because we actually had an organic, well, not organic, but a proper build-up to the Kofi moment, and it was actually handled in exactly the way that it needed to be done. And also for just Charlotte getting her ass handed to her, and for those 2 reasons, you get an extra half mark to take it up from the 6. So a 6 from Pete, a 6.5 from me, and a 7 from Turbo.
That's good. A nice scale from the lot of us.
It as a pay-per-view is very much in that. It wasn't awful, but at the same, because there was highlights, but at the same time, it wasn't a good card from front to back. If it wasn't for the bookends, it could have been quite the stinker, actually.
Yeah, I think that's fine, and I think, I don't know, average of about 6.5 overall seems about right for that. I think, I think a lot of people, from what I've noticed, have scored a lot higher just based on the last match on its own. Like the 2 Elimination Chamber matches were very good.
Yeah, I think people who have been rating this like a 8 or an 8.5 or higher is like they're not. You're fooling yourselves. It's like, this is not.
I don't think they're fooling themselves. They've got their own criteria that they base it on and everything else, and that's fair. We're our own team. This is the decision we've come up with on our own merit, and they've done theirs on their own merit as well. Again, I think it falls down on the whole point of the fact that you've just got a pay-per-view named after a match type. Therefore, we know it's coming.
Yeah.
I want going back to pay-per-views where we can. I'm sure we talked about this on the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view cast as well. Having a feud that builds up to the point where there's no escape, there's nothing we can do. So the next point is a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, that it deserves. And it's one of the reasons why the Mania Hell in the Cells in recent years have done, so well in a way, because it's not something that has felt as shoehorned in as the pay-per-view ones.
Right, unless you're Shane McMahon, of course.
That's
just all spectacle.
Let's just moving on.
Yeah, no, it's but that's that. Let's move on to the socials and end this and have a nice evening. Thank you very much for watching and or listening, depending if you've been on the YouTubes. Mr. Kevin, go through the socials, please, on your behalf.
You can, first of all, follow us as a whole on Twitter for Last Minute Kickout. If you go to @FacesInPeril, you see what we did there? It's pretty clever. Also, you can check out the general gaming channel, Last Minute Continue, @LastMinContinue. For me personally, you can find me @TheKevinEva on Twitter, and of course there's various things on YouTube. If you're not aware that there is, and you're listening to the iTunes version, go ahead and check it out. There is indeed a video version of this. If you're already on there, of course, hi. Make sure you hit the bell as well as subscribe. Other than that, there's all manner of things. There's a Twitch, etc. Speaking of Twitch, somebody else who is on Twitch is, of course, Mr. Turbo.
Yes, it is. I am on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/TurboDriveLive. Of course, you can follow my social medias, being that of @TurboXLR on both Twitter and Instagram now. And yes, that's all that there. So, Pete, you probably have your socials discussed here.
As always, you can follow me on @TitansCreed on the Twitter. I can be found on the video game sites on Twitch at twitch.tv/Project Phoenix Productions. It's where I am at 5 days a week. Unless I'm not there. Otherwise, I can be found sometimes on twitch.tv/LastMinuteContinue as well as the occasional video going up on youtube.com/LastMinuteContinue. I think that's about right. Yep. But thank you very much for watching.
It's there. It's there or there, wherever I am.
Indeed.
On the screen.
All those socials will be on the screen if you've been watching the YouTube video, as well as in the description box below. As Mr. Kevin has said, please feel free to like the video, subscribe if you've got a big fat red button underneath us, hit the bell for notifications, and if you're on the iTunes, all the descriptions will be in the video description as well. Links to everything. Been a pleasure to have you gentlemen on as normal. Mr. John Turbo Finley.
Thank you.
Mr. Kevin Eva.
See you in the rematch.
And myself, one Pete Titans Creed Netherco. Until the next time, guys, it's time to end the match, ring the bell, and we'll see you for the next episode of Last Minute Kickout.
Bye.